Okay, so picture this. You get an insurance quote. It looks fine, reasonable enough. And you think, great, one less thing to worry about. But hang on. What if that good enough quote is actually a pretty bad deal in disguise? What if by accepting it, you're leaving a whole lot of money, or way better benefits, just sitting on the table?
So let's just ask the question straight up. That quote you just got, is it really the best possible fit for you? I mean, was it truly designed with your specific needs in mind? Or was it maybe just the quickest and easiest option your agent had on hand?
And here's the thing. Most of us never really know for sure. The whole process seems so straightforward, right? But the quote you end up accepting, it often comes from just one tiny corner of the market, maybe a handful of companies. Meanwhile, there could be dozens, maybe even hundreds, of better options out there that you never even heard about. And that gets us to the heart of the problem, what I like to call the trap of the good enough quote. You know the one. It seems okay on the surface, but it could be quietly costing you a fortune in the long run. This really breaks it down. A lot of agents, they only work with a few insurance carriers they know and like. Now compare that to a diversified broker who has access to a massive marketplace. We're talking over 100 carriers. It's not just about having more choices. It's about having the ability to find that one perfect company that is the absolute best fit for your unique situation. All right, so let's dig in. Where do these good enough quotes usually go wrong? Well, most of the problems fall into four main buckets. It all starts with that limited carrier access we just mentioned, but it goes a lot deeper than that. We're talking about picking the wrong company for your profile, totally missing some key details in the fine print, or just not using smarter ways to structure a policy so it actually works for you. Let's focus on one of the biggest culprits of all, the carrier mismatch. See, insurance isn't a simple commodity, like milk or eggs. Every single company looks at risk differently, and that means the cheapest, most perfect carrier for your neighbor might be an incredibly expensive, terrible choice for you, even if you're buying the exact same type of policy. Let me give you a quick example. Let's say you have a specific health profile. Company A might see that and immediately charge you a higher premium, but Company B, using a totally different set of rules, could look at the exact same profile and offer you their best possible price. It's the same person, same need, but a radically different financial outcome, all because of which carrier was chosen. So how in the world do you avoid these traps? Well, this is where getting an expert second opinion comes in. Think of it as putting your quote through a professional stress test. And a quote stress test is exactly what it sounds like. It's a really deep dive that goes way, way beyond just looking at the price. An expert analyzes the fundamental design of the policy, challenges all the underlying assumptions, and really scrutinizes the carrier choice to find any hidden risks and, more importantly, uncover much better opportunities. So, what does that actually look like? Well, it's a pretty methodical four-step process. First, an expert takes your quote and basically deconstructs it to see how it was built. Then, they benchmark it against the entire market, not just a few companies. From there, they look for smarter, more efficient ways to structure the policy to hit your goals. And finally, they give you a true apples-to-apples comparison, so you know exactly what you're looking at. And I've got to stress this because it's so important. A cheap quote is not always a good quote. The real value isn't just the price tag, it's the design of the policy itself. A proper review makes sure you're actually comparing apples to apples so you can understand the real trade-offs between the benefits, the flexibility, and the long-term value. Okay, that all sounds great in theory, but let's talk about what really matters. What does this actually mean for your wallet, for your financial security? Let's look at the real-world impact. This quote just hits the nail on the head. Some of these insurance illustrations, especially for products that are supposed to generate income, can look unbelievable on paper. But when an expert takes a look, they often find that those huge numbers are based on super unrealistic assumptions. It's like Monopoly money. It looks impressive, but it's not based in reality. So when you finally unlock a better designed quote, the benefits are real and tangible. It could mean much lower costs for the exact same coverage, or maybe superior benefits for the same price. But you know, the most important thing is that your policy is built on a solid foundation, a strategy that's actually right for you, giving you true long-term financial security. So all of this brings us to the final big question. Who should actually be getting a second opinion on their quote? Is this something for you? Let's get practical. How do you know if your quote is a good candidate for a second look? Well, here are a few really clear signs. If your quote came from just a single company, 100% get it reviewed. If the price just feels off, it seems high, trust your gut and get it checked.
And if your situation involves any kind of health complexity, a second opinion isn't just a good idea, it's absolutely essential. But honestly, even if none of that applies to you, a review is still worth it for one simple reason: peace of mind.
And here's the kicker, probably the best part of all. This kind of deep, expert analysis, it's almost always offered completely free of charge. There's literally no downside. The worst case scenario is you find out you already have a great plan. And the best case scenario? You uncover huge savings or find much better benefits you never even knew were possible. Look, at the end of the day, it really just comes down to this. Your financial future is way too important to settle for good enough. The difference between an average quote and a truly optimized one can make a huge impact for decades to come. So the only real question left is, what could a second look reveal for you?